What to have for breakfast? Always a good question. Well, here's what we've been doing lately, and I love it, so I thought I'd share it with you. Always a cup of fruit, and I've got some sumo oranges here, some blackberries, and some rather tasteless strawberries, but I'm hopeful that soon that will be better. Set that aside. By the way, I keep my fruit, my berries specifically, in these Rubbermaid containers because they have divots on the bottom, so I can wash the fruit, dry it really well, put it in these containers, and if there's any moisture, it just kind of wicks it out, and they have this kind of fancy air circulation thing which keeps the fruit fresher longer. Not that we have a problem with eating it because we eat a lot of fruit. So anyway, I thought I'd share that too. Now, I have a drawer that I dedicate in my refrigerator just for omelets, and there I put things like a little bit of onion that I have left over, my mushrooms, my spinach, anything that is a candidate for going into an omelet, peppers. Last week I did some pak choi. I've got some artichokes in the fridge that I'm going to include in this omelet too, but let's start with the chopping up. So on top, I'm going to put a little tomato and basil leaves. I've got those there. I always like to use a little onion of some type. Don't have to do that, but I like it just because I love onion, and I in particular love red onion. And this has already been chopped up on, so I'm just taking what's left of it. There we go. And the omelet I'm making today is actually for both Mark and I, so we're going to do one larger omelet. Okay, and then you know how I feel about mushrooms, so let's get a few of those in there. The last article I read said a quarter cup of mushrooms per day, amazing health benefits. And for this, it doesn't matter what type of mushroom it is. Of course, different mushrooms have different properties, medicinal properties that carry different benefits, but for our purposes, we just need some type of mushroom, quarter cup. And I'm going to saute the onion and the mushroom together. So I'll finish this up and then we'll head to the stove. I've been heating my pan over kind of medium-low heat. Give it a spray of canola, and then I like to wipe that around. It takes a little bit of it out, but it also just evenly distributes it, which is nice, and I can feel that heat on the pan. And in go my mushrooms and my onion. Got a little sizzle going there. I always like to add in a little bit of salt at this point to help bring out the moisture in the vegetables because we're not cooking with a lot of oil. And I love adding pepper now because it toasts the pepper and it smells amazing. Okay, these are looking great. So here's some baby spinach. It's baby spinach, but I still like to tear it up a little bit just because these aren't that small. Makes it just a little easier to eat. Get another handful in there. Remember, this is an omelet for two, so we're sharing here, and this is going to cook way down. And also, I'm going to add in some artichoke hearts that I buy canned, and they are quartered, and I cut the quarters in half, so they're eighths now, so it'll be a nice bite size. Add a little bit of salt in at this point. And then let's deal with our eggs here. I buy my egg whites in the carton like this. These are from Costco. They sell them by the 6-pack, and it is a great deal. They keep for a really long time, just like eggs do. The key is, remember to really shake them up. When I first started making these, I didn't quite get this, and the eggs just kept getting thicker and thicker as I went down through them. Now, I estimate a quarter cup per egg per person. So, but it's Mark and I today. He typically would have 2 eggs. I will have 1, so I'm doing 3/4 of a cup. Look at that. And you can see that liquid is coming out of that spinach nicely. Now, what I'm going to do is just kind of try to evenly distribute this because I'm going to pour the egg whites right in here. So I'm making this like a frittata, but it's not going to puff like a frittata. But I love doing this with egg whites because, let's face it, a white omelet is not beautiful. We're used to the beautiful color of eggs with yolks, so this works out nicely. So I'm just going to pour that in. There's a lot you can do with these eggs in terms of baking, but the one thing they won't do is whip up, so just know that. Searching for my pepper grinder here, little bit of salt. Notice how I'm doing that in layers, little at a time, and then a final grind of pepper. Okay, now my heat, I'm going to crank up just a little bit. I want to get a little color on the bottom of this, and I'm going to cover it and let it go. All right, here it is. Look at that. Now, with the 3 eggs, this took about 3 minutes to do. I did swirl it around a couple of times to help get the eggs, the raw eggs, out to the edge of the pan. If you're doing 1 egg, you're not going to have to do that, but it does help a little bit. So let's see what this looks like. I'm just going to flip it like this. See, I got some nice color, which is what I was going for. And like this. Because egg whites are so white, I mean really white, so there that goes. Okay, and then I've got my little tomato basil here to put on top. And these are some Bushel Boy tomatoes, by the way, Minnesotans, that they sell on the vine, and they are actually very summer-like. It's hard to get a good tomato in the middle of winter. Okay, and some fresh basil. From here you can add a little salt and pepper if you want to. I'm going to play that by ear.